comfortable seat. Again, maybe with a little height underneath your bum. And welcome to Mindful Yoga. So we're going to continue with the tools we're learning in our yoga class for being very mindful moment to moment. So today in particular, when you notice yourself maybe resisting or pushing or judging, see if you can just come right back to the breath, right back to sensations in the body, rather than being attached to some fantasy that we can do everything perfectly. See if you can be with the pose as it is. So that's where our tools are essential, coming to our breathing, feeling what's happening in the body, and see if what it feels like when we don't resist, when we relax with what is, as opposed to when we're not relaxed with what is. And this translates right into our life. We can bring that relaxation into our life and be less judgmental on ourselves and others as well. So we can start catching ourselves in our yoga class, and that's where the practice goes out into our lives by working here. So find yourself very comfortable, sit up tall. If your knees are high, remember to sit up a little higher on something so the knees can relax down. We don't want the low back to compress. We're going to pull that low back in, the tail reaching down, lengthening through the side waist, but keeping the legs relaxed and keeping the shoulders down a little bit back so the shoulder blades come together just a little bit. Arms heavy and relaxed with the hands resting on the thighs, palms up or down. However they land is right for you today. And then just see if you can lengthen up between the shoulder blades to the base of the skull and up through the crown of the head while keeping the shoulders relaxed and the arms heavy and your sits bones grounded, the tailbone reaching down, pressing, and the upper body gently floating upwards with ease. And let's take a deep breath in and exhale, let everything go. Letting go of thoughts, worries, and tensions. Let's take another deep breath in and release with a nice sigh, letting go even more, allowing your eyes to close. We're going to begin our breath this morning with the Ujjayi breath, breathing into the belly, ribs, and chest, our three-part breath, but adding the Ujjayi, the ocean-sounding breath, contracting the throat. So you might want to just begin with the Durga Pranayama breath, deepening the breath slowly. Or maybe adding Ujjayi breath right away. Just notice the effects in your body, your mind. Feeling yourself settle in a little bit more as you empty out of more and more tensions, thoughts, worries. Coming to this present moment. Feeling the space around you. And not being disturbed by any external sounds or whatever might come up, even thoughts and emotions. Just let them come and let them go when they're ready. Not attaching to anything and not pushing anything away. Again, we're learning to be okay with what is more and more of the time in our lives. Relax your jaw and your eyes, and anywhere where you may habitually hold, just bring your attention there with love and guide it into softening, to releasing. Let your Ujjayi breath be as loud as feels good to capture the mind, to bring us deeper into ourselves, and find that sense of peace. And let this be your connection to Source. Emptying out a little more with every exhaling breath. And we'll begin with the sound of Om, please bring your hands together in front of your heart. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhaling fully. And inhaling deeply. And opening your eyes slowly, lowering your hands. And we'll begin our practice in child's pose. So make your way into a comfortable position for child's pose. Remember, you can widen your knees if you prefer. You can place something under your forehead. You can place a blanket under your ankles or between your buttocks and your calves. You can bring your arms alongside your body. Maybe lower the forehead to the mat. And just begin to breathe long, deep inhalations and long, slow exhalations. Just allowing the weight of your shoulders to melt down into the mat. And just notice what's present, thoughts, feelings, how you're feeling this morning energetically. And be with whatever's present. That sometimes that can be hard, but see if you can just welcome whatever's here. Following every breath as the belly fills. You can feel the pressure of your belly on your thighs, the expansion of the ribs, and then the softening with the release. On your next inhalation, reach your arms forward and just walk the hands over towards the right. We're going to get a nice stretch through the left side body. Your forehead may or may not touch the floor, that's okay. And reach your hips in the opposite direction. So that left hip would be reaching left, as your left and right hands would be reaching to the right. And now as you breathe, feel the breath expanding into the left rib cage, opening the intercostal muscles. See if you can draw your navel a little bit to the right as the hips go left. And taking your next inhalation, walking back to center, and then over to the left. Again, reaching the hips in the opposite direction, drawing the navel a little bit to the left. And just get that nice stretch now through the right side. Very soft, perhaps Ujjayi breath, along with your Durga Pranayama, 3-part breath. And inhaling, walking yourself back to center. And coming up to tabletop pose. Remember to stack the shoulders above the wrists. The hips above the knees, knees and feet hip width apart, the tops of the feet on the mat. And let's take a nice breath in and bring the right foot straight back. So you're on the toes, and we'll just press through the heel. You can pulse a couple of times. And then maybe hold that for just a breath or two. Reach through that heel, get a good stretch in the calf. As you press into your hands as well, so we're nice and long, and also pressing the floor away. And take a nice breath in and bring that right knee back in. And exhale, we'll bring the left toes back and press and pulse a few times here, so we can start to feel the edge of our stretch. And then holding for a couple of breaths, reach through that heel, press the floor away, and draw the navel in. Relax the face. Just be here. And inhale, drawing that left knee back into all fours. And we're going to engage the core, the deep core muscles as we've done before. We're going to take a breath in. And as you exhale, drawing the navel into the spine and pulling up the pelvic floor. Just feel that subtle action here. And inhaling, releasing, and exhaling. Navel in, pulling the pelvic floor up. And then we're going to add a little movement here. So as we inhale, we're going to lift the tail, lift the heart forward and up. Lift the gaze, and exhale, we're adding our cat and cow movement. Curling the tail, drawing the navel way in, dropping the head, and pulling up that pelvic floor. And continue this a couple more times. You might want to add more of a back bend here. See how that feels. Pulling the heart through, lifting. On your next inhalation, you might walk your hands a little forward and have your cow pose this way, and exhaling, tucking and shifting hips back. These are cat and cow curls. And inhale, coming up. And exhaling, tucking the tail, rounding. Feel the deep core muscles pulling in, contracting. And you might want more of a back bend by bringing the pelvis down. If this doesn't feel right, then it's not good for you to do. If you use your low back muscles, you can activate your core, pulling the navel through, exhaling, and sitting back. And maybe doing this a couple more times if it feels right. Otherwise, continue as you were before. And last time, wherever you are, we'll finish up. Remember to go at your pace. And inhaling back up to a neutral spine. Stacking the shoulders above the wrists. And let's do some torso circles to get a little bit more movement in the spine. So exhaling, lowering the chest. Inhaling, shifting the ribs right. And again, adding that cat pose here. And exhaling, rounding. Inhaling, and then coming round once more. And any movement that might feel right for you. Let this be a free flow. And reverse if you're doing this movement, or any other movement that feels good. We're just trying to loosen up the spine, get it moving in all directions. Good. Good. And then coming to a steady position when you feel complete. Let's take a deep breath in. As we exhale, bring the right foot back as we did before. Reach through the heel. And we're going to keep the right hand on the mat and bring the left hand to your left shoulder. And take a breath in and just give a little bit of a twist to the left. And you can keep your hand on your shoulder or maybe bring it up towards the sky. Pressing into that right heel, lengthening through the spine. Keeping the right shoulder a little bit back and down so it's not shrugging and sinking into the ear. And taking another breath in. And exhale, slowly lowering that left hand. And this time keeping the left hand on the mat. And we're going to turn to the inside of the right foot and lowering the foot to the mat. And we're going to bring the right hand to the right shoulder now. And bring that elbow up. You might stay here. Or maybe bring that arm all the way up. And perhaps bring the arm alongside the ear. Keep pressing into that right foot. This is a little bit of a back bend. If you bring the right shoulder back, imagine you're against a wall. Reach from that right foot through the right fingers and keep the breath steady. And see if you can relax here. Let go of judgments, right? All those things that we do. One more breath. And exhale slowly, lowering the right arm back down. Draw that right knee in. And you might want to sit back in child's pose for a moment or rotate your wrists. Just letting go of buildup of tension here. Good. And when you're ready, coming back again to tabletop. And this time bringing the left foot straight back. And bringing your right hand to your right shoulder and twisting to the right a little bit. Press into that left heel, lengthen through the spine. And again, maybe bringing that right arm straight up, maybe not. Good. Breathe. Bring that left shoulder back a little bit. If it's starting to crunch into the ear, let it come back and down. Lift up. Nice long spine. One more deep breath. And exhale, lowering the right hand. And turning that left foot now down into the mat. Bringing your left hand to your left shoulder and bringing that left elbow up towards the sky and maybe bringing the arm straight up. You can stay here or bringing the arm alongside your ear. Any variation that suits you this morning. Again, the hand can stay on the shoulder. Whatever is right. Remember to bring the body back as if it's coming against a wall. Press firmly into the left foot. Reach through the crown, through the fingers, get a good stretch. Durga Pranayama, 3-part breath with ocean sound. Add that Ujjayi breath. One more. And exhale, slowly lower that left hand back down. Draw the left knee back in. And you might want to sit on your heels, rotate your wrists, great child's pose. Shake it out. And again, when you feel ready, we'll come back to tabletop pose. And we're going to prepare for downward dog, downward facing dog. So the knees and feet are hip width apart. The hands can come a little bit forward and a little bit wider. So close to the outsides of the mat. Spread your fingers nice and wide. We're curling the toes under, taking a nice breath in. Press into your hands and reach through the arms and sit back first before you lift your knees. Then let the knees lift and lengthen from your hands through the tail. Feel the inner elbows rolling forward. You don't have to straighten your knees. As I've said before, a lot of people like to keep a bend in the knees. You can bend one knee and then the other if that feels right. You can rock the hips from side to side. And remember, if this isn't right, you can always come right down into child's pose or puppy pose. Press into all parts of your hand here. 3 breaths as we hold. And on your next inhalation, slowly walk your feet up towards your hands. Coming towards the front of your mat. Make sure your block is handy there. Good. So now we're in a forward fold. Feet are hip width apart. Spread out your toes. Get a good strong base. And bring your hands to your shins or your thighs or your knees. Lift up halfway. Nice straight spine. And exhale. Lower back down. Bring your hands to your hips, elbows in towards the body. Lift your head and chest. Reach your heart forward as you press into your feet and slowly come to standing. Let your eyes close if you have your balance, or just keep them soft towards the floor. And just let go. It might feel good to roll the shoulders a little bit. So our next series is a little more complicated, but it involves balancing and back bends together. So please come to the front of your mat. Again, feet are hip width apart with our hands on the hips. So find yourself in your mountain pose by pressing into your feet, extending up through the spine, through the crown, but feel a sense of ease. Elbows in and back. We're going to take a deep breath in and exhale, shift the weight to the left foot, bend that left knee and step back with the right foot. Turn the heel out and down. The toes are turned part way in, coming up to warrior 2. We're going to turn the torso to face the front. That left heel would intersect the right arch if I drew a line. Inhaling the arms out to the sides. Notice if the shoulders are coming up, roll them back and down as we reach. Press that left knee towards the left pinky toe if it's coming in. Maybe shorten your stance if you need to. So check that the right toes are turned part way in. The heart is above the pubic bone. Sometimes we want to lean towards the right, or the left, excuse me. We want to stay nice and vertical. Drop the upper buttocks down and in. Lift your heart, pull the navel in. So we use those deep core muscles once again as we exhale, belly in, pelvic floor lifts. Feel the thighs active. Good, now we're going to add something here. So hold your position, bring the right arm up and bend the elbow. Place your hand maybe on the back of your neck, the base of your skull, wherever it feels right. And bend your right elbow, and place your hand to your low back and maybe inching it up a little bit. The hands don't have to meet, mine don't, that's okay. Good, and hold here, deep breaths. Keep pressing the right knee back, it's above the ankle, not forward or back. Good, and take a breath in, and exhale, we're gonna lower the right hand to the thigh. Straighten that left arm up. Coming into exalted warrior, you can stay here or maybe reach a little bit over to the right. Good. Keeping the left shoulder back. Deep breaths. Good. And inhale, coming back to warrior two, but straightening that left leg. Now we're going to come into triangle pose. Take a breath in. Have that block handy. We're going to exhale and hinge over to the left. Shift those hips way to the right. Keeping the head in line with the spine as best you can. Lowering that left hand maybe to that block. Bringing the right arm up. Try to stack the shoulders. Try to bring that right shoulder back. Reach the right heel towards your right buttocks, towards your right heel. It's okay to be up higher. Good. Breathe deeply. And now we're coming into our very challenging balance pose, half moon. So bend your left knee, bring your block, lower your right hand to your hip first. Bring your block to the outside and forward of your left foot. We're going to bring the right foot up a little bit. The block can be at the highest height. I recommend that perhaps. I'm going to take the middle height. And now we're going to bring our weight onto the left foot. Keep your right toes there. Find your balance. And then you can begin to lift that right leg. You can look down for now. And don't worry if, again, notice if you're beginning to judge yourself or resist or push. And just feel and breathe. Be okay with what's here. Flex that right ankle and see if you can bring the right hip back and the right shoulder back so we can imagine you're against that wall. Maybe bringing the right arm up. And for some of you, you might want to explore a little deeper by bending the right knee and maybe taking a hold of that right foot. Maybe not. Pressing the foot into the hand. Sometimes a chair can be helpful for this pose. Release that foot. Take another breath in, bend your left knee, step that right foot back, and come back up to warrior two. Whew, that's a lot, right? Good. Place your hands on your hips, turn towards the front of your mat, step your right foot forward, take a deep breath, and let all that go. So it was very challenging. But sometimes it's nice to have a challenge because that's where we can notice our reactions. Can we be at peace no matter what? Very challenging. Good. So give yourself another couple of breaths to come back to balance and equilibrium before we come to the other side. And without anticipating the other side, see if you can remain here. What's happening now? How is the body feeling? What's happening emotionally? Find that peace, contentment. Good. And then coming to the other side. So again, have your block handy. Hands on your hips, elbows in and back. Taking a deep breath in, this time shifting our weight into the right foot. Let the right knee bend and step straight back with the left foot. Turning the heel in And remember that right heel would intersect the left arch. Now I have my back to you so you can see this way. Again, the right knee is reaching towards the right pinky, knees over the ankle, torso forward, navel is below the heart. Activate your legs, feel them reaching in towards each other. Good. Reach the arms out, relax the shoulders, reach through the fingers and gaze over the right fingers. And again, we're going to come into that arm position. We're going to bring the right arm up, bend the elbow, place the hand on the back of the neck or upper back, wherever it reaches. Bend the left elbow, bring it behind the back, and just wiggle it up to where it feels good. The hand might be down here on the low back, that's fine. But bringing it up to where it reaches. And breathing here, dropping the upper buttocks down and in, pull the belly in, breathe deeply here. And then lowering the left hand to your thigh, straighten the right arm up, and again staying here or taking that breath, reaching up and coming into exalted warrior. Keep that right knee bent over the ankle, creating a little bit of a back bend. Inhale, coming back up to warrior two, but then straightening that right leg, preparing for triangle pose. Take a nice breath in. Exhale, reaching now to the right, shift the hips left, and maybe taking a hold of that block. Bringing that left hand to the shoulder, or maybe all the way up. Stacking the hands. And breathe. Bring your left tail towards your left heel. Bring the left shoulder back, the left hip back. Breathe deeply. Activate your thighs, the deep core. Draw that navel in, pelvic floor up. One more breath. And exhale, bend that right knee. Place your left hand on your hip. Bring the block over to the right side of your right foot. Bring that left foot up a little bit. Preparing for half moon. Again, taking a breath in, stepping onto that right foot. Dragging that left foot until you can maybe lift it. Doesn't have to come high. I'm showing you more of the full expression of the pose. So find what works for you. Flexing that left ankle, reaching through the heel. And then I'm bringing my left hip back, opening my body. Bringing my left hand again to the left shoulder maybe, bringing that back. And maybe reaching the left arm straight up, maybe not. And again, if you'd like more challenge, which you might not want at all today, you can bend the left knee perhaps, and maybe take a hold of that left foot. Breathe. If you're holding that foot, take a breath. Exhale, release. And step back with the left foot once more, and come back up to warrior two. Hands on the hips. Step forward, back to the front of your mat. Close your eyes. And let all that energy expand in your body and integrate what's been released. Letting go, letting go, letting go. And opening your eyes. So let's come into a nice wide leg forward fold. This will feel really nice after what we've just done. You want the toes turned in. And if you bring your arms out to the sides, your wrists would be approximately above your ankles. It's okay if they're not. We'll bring the hands to the hips. Toes again turned in. So the outsides of your feet parallel with the front and back of your mat. Roll the shoulders back and down. Pull the low back in, belly in. Take a breath in, lengthen. Keep the legs strong as you begin to hinge forward. On that exhalation, again, the navel in, pelvic floor lifted. Bending the knees at any time you need. Maybe bringing the hands behind the legs for support, sliding them down. If the floor is too far away and you want to bring your hands down, you can place a block there. Remember, there are 3 heights. Either way, let your head hang down. Please remember to bend your knees if it feels right.
So we're shifting the weight a little forward toward the balls of the feet, but all four corners of the feet are planted down into the mat. Let your tail lift. Feel your inner thighs rolling back. A lot of action here. But let the crown of the head release down towards the earth. And inhale, slowly come up. Let's heel toe the feet back together a little bit. Hip width apart. Again, bringing the hands to the hips, elbows back, pressing into the feet. Take that deep breath. Bring yourself all the way to standing. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms out and up. And exhale slowly down. Again, inhale out and up. Bring the palms together and exhale slowly, bringing the hands down towards the heart. Breathe. Relax. And then lowering the hands to the mat, or to your sides, excuse me. Settle in, just be. Allow yourself to feel fully. Receive this energy. And notice what it feels like to be at ease, to let go. And then let your eyes slowly open. So again, we're going to come into a forward fold, but with a little twist. So let's widen the feet once again. Have your block handy in front of you. Toes turned in just a little bit. Feet are planted firmly. Legs are active to lift energy up right through the pelvic floor, through the spine and crown of the head. Again, hands on the hips, elbows in. Taking that full breath in. Exhale, hinging forward. Maybe coming just parallel to the mat first. Lift your tail. We're reaching in opposite directions now, all directions. We're pressing into the feet, reaching through the tail, and then reaching through the crown, and then placing your hands down on the block. Maybe middle height, or maybe as high as the block goes. So find what works for you. I'm taking the low height. And shift a little forward and back. You might want to bring the block further forward. You don't want it too close to you. Maybe even 2 feet or so. Shoulders are above the wrists approximately. Again, pressing down, pressing back, pressing forward. Hands are pressing down, feet are pressing down. You're lengthening from the tail through the crown. Good. And then we're going to place the right hand in the middle of the block, and that should be just below your throat. And pressing down there, we're going to take a breath in and bring the left arm out and up. And just as we did on the floor with that side bend, we're going to bring, or reaching to the side, we're going to bring that right hip back. If this doesn't feel right on your shoulder, you can always place your left hand on the shoulder and bring the elbow up. And breathe. Again, activating those core muscles. Exhaling the navel in, pulling up the pelvic floor. Deep breaths in, long, slow exhalations. And on your next exhalation, you can slowly lower that left hand back down, coming back to neutral. Take a breath, and then bringing the left hand underneath your throat, the middle of the block if it's there. Inhaling that right arm out and up. Again, the hand can be on the shoulder. Keep lengthening in all directions. Keep pressing down. Bring the left hip back a little bit. Maybe gazing upwards, but you don't have to. You can stay with your gaze down or to the side. Deep breaths. Let them be long, smooth, and steady. Let that be an indication of your state of mind. One more. And as you exhale, release that left hand down. Good. And place your hands on the floor and turn towards the left. Turning your right toes down, your left foot's on the mat. We're going to lower that right knee, bring the left knee down, and sit back in child's pose. Just allow the silence to fill you up. Just breath in this very moment. And take a nice deep breath here as you rise up again to tabletop. We're going to shift our hips to one side. Bring the legs forward and bring them out wide, not too wide. And this is where it can be very helpful to sit on a block. This is a little high for me. I would sit on maybe a blanket for myself, but a block might be just right for you. We're going to keep the right knee straight and bend the left knee, bringing the foot into the inside of the right thigh. Flexing the right ankle. And we're going to turn the torso a little bit towards that left thigh with the back of the right hand on the inside of the right leg. And we're going to take a deep breath in and exhale. Just allow that right hand to slide down the inside of the leg, and you might not go very far. So remember, the torso is turned towards the bent leg. All right, so now we're sliding over to the right. You can bring your left hand to your hip, maybe to your shoulder. We want to keep it back. Maybe bring that left elbow up towards the sky. And then maybe bring the arm alongside the ear. But if it doesn't feel right, if you're finding that you're collapsing, then just come up. Be where it feels good. This is where you can stay. Only if it feels good, you want to go further, right? This is your practice. Find what's happening at your edge. Again, are we resisting? Are we pushing? Are we judging? Come back to breath. Come back to those sensations that we feel. Come back to the present moment. Ujjayi Durga Pranayama breath. Good. Inhale, slowly come back up. Lowering the left hand. And then we're going to bring the left hand over towards the right thigh. Bring the right hand behind you. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale, we're going to twist to the right. Keep the length in the spine. With a twist, we can compress the vertebra, so we want to extend upwards, axial extension of the spine. Not letting the shoulders come up to the ears, relaxing them down, widening in the chest. Good. And inhale, slowly come back. And we'll do the opposite way, bringing the left hand behind you, the right hand on your left thigh. Inhale, lengthen. And exhale again, gentle twist now to the left. Inhale, keep lengthening up as you unwind and come back to center. And we'll switch legs. Did I tell you all about the study that was done on people? They told them not to smile, but they put pencils in the corners of their mouths. It changed the body chemistry. Maybe I told you this already, but anyway, I think that's so funny. So when we smile, it changes things in the body, so we want to try to smile. Even if we're not smiling in the mouth, we can smile in the throat, we can smile in the heart, we can smile in the belly. So keeping that left ankle flexed. Good. Bringing the back of the left hand to the inside of the left thigh, the right hand over to the right hip, and turning the torso towards that bent knee, right? Taking that breath in, lengthening, and exhale, just slowly slide that hand. You may not come any further than this. The moment you feel some restriction, some tension, Just stop right there. There's no need to go any further. Softening with every exhalation. Notice how when you let go of pushing or resistance or any judgment and you just be with what is and breathe, it feels very different. Maybe bringing that hand to the hip, maybe to the shoulder, bringing that right elbow up, and maybe bringing the arm alongside the ear. But keep lifting and lengthening as you come over, wherever you find yourself in this pose. You might even want to take a block here. This can come in handy. So whatever feels good, right? Keep reaching, opening. On your next inhalation, reach through those fingers or your elbow, wherever you are. Come all the way up. Lower the arm. Good. And bringing your left hand behind you, your right hand on your left thigh. Lengthen up on your breath in. And exhale slowly, now twisting left. Inhale, slowly unwind, coming to center. Placing the left hand on the right thigh, right hand behind you. Inhale by pressing into that right hand, we can get even taller. And exhaling gently, now twisting to the right. Remember to keep broad in the collarbones, not letting the shoulders creep up to the ears, just lengthening up from the sits bones, sending that gaze all the way to the right. Sending the eyeballs all the way to the right. And inhaling, slowly unwinding. And exhale, relax. And now we're going to come onto our backs. Yay! So slowly make your way down. And have your block handy by your side. And just bend your knees. Maybe send the feet to the sides of the mat. Let the knees fall in together. Let your arms just relax away from the body. And just let yourself settle down. So when you're ready, take a hold of your block. Just bring the feet closer together and lift the hips and place the block on the low back. Now this may not feel right for you at all. You may need to have something lower. If it doesn't feel good, then just skip it. So I'm going to keep my right knee bent and I'm going to straighten the left leg, creating a back bend. I think we've done this before. I'm going to bring my left arm up. Again, if that doesn't feel right, then take the block out. You might want to wiggle the torso a little bit to the right, and maybe that left leg a little to the right, keeping the pelvis steady. And just getting a nice stretch as well through the whole left side. And as you take those deep breaths, just focus on the expansion. Releasing on the exhaling breath, long, steady breaths. You can also experiment here only if it feels right, maybe straightening the other leg as well. But if you feel any torque in your low back or any discomfort, then just keep that right knee bent. And inhale, bringing the torso back to center if you've turned it, bringing that left arm back down, bending the left knee. Just take a nice breath here. And let it go. Good. And let's straighten out the right leg. This side could be different. And we'll bring the right arm up. First getting a nice stretch. And again, if it feels right, bringing the torso a little bit left. And maybe that right foot bringing over to the left, getting a stretch now on the right side. Softening with each exhalation. So if you don't have the block underneath you, you can still be getting a nice stretch on the side. Again, feel free to experiment, maybe straightening the left leg as well. Maybe walking the feet further over to the left. Reaching the right arm to the left. But continue breathing deeply. Steady breath keeps our mind steady. And if you've straightened both legs, then bend your left knee. Bring the right leg back to the right, the torso back to center. Bring your right arm down. Bend your right knee. Press into your feet, lift your hips, remove the block, lower your pelvis down. And let's tuck the knees into the chest. Reach the tail away from you. You can interlace your fingers if that feels right. Maybe hold opposite wrists, or maybe you can wrap your arms around and hold your elbows. But reach your tail away from you and tuck your chin. We're lengthening the spine and flattening the spine out on the mat. Shoulders away from the ears. Feel the back of the neck nice and long. And take a breath in and release. And it might feel good to hold your knees and rock the hips around, circling the knees, or bringing the knees apart and in, whatever feels good. And make sure if you're going one direction, you also go the other direction. So switching. And then lowering the feet. Preparing now for Shavasana, our corpse pose. Maybe straightening out the legs, but you might need something else before coming into Shavasana. So make sure you feel complete. And when you're ready for Shavasana, just lengthening out the legs, separating the feet nice and wide, arms away from your body. Make sure you have whatever you need to be comfortable, maybe a blanket or a pillow or bolster under your knees. And take those next breaths, conscious breaths, emptying out fully the breath along with tensions. Let the mind just focus on that as the spine melts down into the mat. Your bones are very heavy, melting down. The muscles soften on the bones. All muscles of the face softening and melting downwards towards the mat. The base of the tongue is loose in the mouth, resting behind the front teeth near the roof of the mouth. Eyes heavy, soft, smoothing out the brow, releasing any worries, thoughts of what's next, and just relaxing here. Letting go more and more, coming back again and again to breath. And very slowly bend one knee and then the other. Again, let the feet be wide, let the knees fall in towards each other. And let's bring the hands together and rub the hands together gently, getting some warmth. And then place the palms on your face, fingertips on your eyes. And just feel the warmth and energy of your hands. Feel the comfort of this touch. And inhale, release. Rotate the wrists. Let's pick up the feet, rotate the ankles. Let's go the other direction. Coming to one side into fetal pose, resting your head on your arm. Just curling up into yourself. And then slowly pressing yourself back up to a seated position with your eyes closed, keeping that focus within. And maintaining this deep inner sense of peace, calm. And let this be your intention for your day, to bring this feeling with you throughout your day. Let's bring the hands to the heart. And please, once again, join me as we chant one sound of Om. Let's take a deep breath in. Exhale fully. And a deep breath. And slowly open your eyes, lower your hands. Jai Bhagwan. Victory to the light within you. Thank you once again for joining me. It's always a pleasure to be with you.